Hi there YouTube and fellow World of Warcraft players. Thomas here from Univac Gaming, bringing you a video on the Frost Mage. I previously went by Methodius, but because I play many different tunes, I like to start going by my first name to make things less confusing. So welcome to Univac 2.0, Univac Gaming's first official patch. Basically, we're making improvements all across the board and utilizing your suggestions in our new videos. Be sure to stay tuned for a video of my colleague Baralt that explains these changes in more detail. Okay, so let's start talking about the mage. Now, what I'm about to head into is a very sketchy situation. There's going to be a lot of people. This isn't something that's always going to happen, but I just want to emphasize how much talents, glyphs, and using the right abilities can make you do good in a battleground. So I'm going to break this down step by step and show you exactly what you need to do and what I'm doing. Alright, so let's back up a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I started using was Living Bomb. And the reason I use Living Bomb is because I want to get Frostfire Bolt Procs, which I'll get to in a second, especially when I resume the video. The second thing I did just happened to be using the Water Elemental's Freeze, which gets me Ice Lance Procs, which I'll get to next. But these are two essential things to starting out in a sticky situation like what we're dealing with here. Okay, so now Time Warp is up, people are clustered, I have a lot of procs going, and I want to continue the damage. So what do? I shoot out my Frozen Orb. You may have seen one already, but that wasn't mine. This one is now mine. So now I'm going to get a multitude of additional Ice Lance procs. And the big thing about Ice Lance procs now is that they activate your mastery, which I'll get to in just a second. Okay, so what you're about to see here is me playing extremely defensively under a high pressure situation. I want you to watch and see what I do, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but I really want to make another video on this. So here's what I want to talk about. I want to go back and talk about using Living Bomb and Frostfire Bolt. Now, every time you put out Living Bomb, you have a chance of proccing Frostfire Bolt. But the more Living Bombs you have, the more chance you have of proccing a Frostfire Bolt. So back there when I was putting those out, it was a really good opportunity to get lots of Frostfire Bolts. And what Frostfire Bolts do now is some of their damage is absorbed by Mastery to create an Icicle. And these Icicles can be launched upon using an Ice Lance. And that is a very, very critical way to do damage now in patch 5.4. Okay, so about defensives. Now, what you saw me do is survive 5 or 6 people just attacking just me. All the way on my way back to the base where I could get assistance from my teammates. I was able to do this by using my Water Elemental's Freeze to root them, keep them away from me in Blink, and using Ice Block to survive any burst damage they did. And for the small damage, I took Ice Barrier, because that's what I'm expecting to take in a battleground. I'm not expecting to take a lot of damage, otherwise I would have taken Temporal Shield. Okay, so I stopped the video here to show you that I have an Icicle above my head. Now, I explained a little bit about Mastery earlier, but now I want to tell you how to actually obtain an Icicle. So you can either shoot a Frost Bolt or a Frostfire Bolt, and a percentage of the damage based on how much Mastery you have is converted to the Icicle and then unleashed with an application of Ice Lance. You can have up to 5 Icicles at a time. So as you can imagine, a lot of damage could be dealt with a high level of Mastery. Now, the way you're seeing me play is very casual. I'm using Frost Armor to increase haste, so basically every time I get an Ice Lance or a Frostfire Bolt, I'm shooting them out as fast as I can to get maximum damage. This is a casual way of playing. If I was trying to set up a burst in Arena to kill somebody very fast, I would take more Mastery, and the way I would do that is by using Mage Armor instead of Frost Armor. Frost Armor increases your haste, Mage Armor increases your Mastery. Higher Mastery means more stored damage in the Icicles, which is going to be a higher burst. You can have up to a maximum of 5 Icicles at any given time, and you can unleash these Icicles by using Ice Lance. While the video is still paused, I'd like to talk about one more thing that you can see on the screen here, which is Polymorph. CCing, which is short for crowd control, is a extremely powerful thing for a mage to utilize. We can use polymorph 3 times in a row, and you're going to see diminishing returns. Obviously, the first time you're going to get 8 seconds, the second time half, and then halved again. So that's a great way for locking somebody out. As you can see, I've done to this hunter. Obviously, we have a lot of ways to root. Rooting is good for escaping, and rooting is good for killing. It can be used both defensively and offensively based on your situation. Another thing that people don't often realize is that our deep freeze can be used defensively. When you're getting bursted by a warrior, and he doesn't have spell reflect anymore, and you can't root him because he has avatar up, your best bet is to deep freeze him. Finally, the last CC I'll talk about in this video is Counterspell, because you've seen me use it before in the video. I use it offensively and defensively. Defensively to prevent damage from something like a Warlock, like you saw me do previously, or offensively in a case where I'm trying to kill a healer and they have low health and they're trying to heal themselves. I can finish them off with an easy Counterspell, which will also lock them out for a maximum of 6 seconds. Okay guys, so that's it for part 1 of the Frost Mage guide, but I have so much more to talk about, so stay tuned, and remember to like, subscribe, and comment on our videos, and make sure you check out Baralt's Warrior guides if you haven't already. They're freaking awesome. Alright, Thomas out.